my name is Marissa, and I'm really excited to show you how easy it is to start a project from scratch. So this is one of our support team's Basecamp accounts, and in order to create a new project, we're going to click on the New Project card on the left-hand side. And once we do that, we're going to create a blank project, and the first thing we're going to do is name our project. And for today's example, the support team has been thinking about redesigning our help pages, so we're going to create a project that's specific to that. So I'm going to call this project the Support Help Page Redesign. Underneath the project name is an area for a description or extra details. This is optional, but you might find this helpful if you and your team have project managers or team leaders. You could consider adding perhaps like TL for team leader and myself there. And then underneath the description area is an area to invite people to your project right away. If you don't want to invite people to your project right away, you can always add them later. But to invite someone to a project, all you're going to have to do is type in someone's email address, just like this. Or if you've already set up your Basecamp account with companies and groups, it makes it a little bit easier to invite multiple people to a project at one time. Now, what I mean by that is I've set up a support group inside this account, so when I start typing in support, it auto-populates for me. I can choose my group, and everyone inside that support group can be added to my project at one time. Underneath the area to invite people is a little area to include a welcome message for your team for your project. We give you this handy one right here, but if you don't enjoy that one, you can always delete it and add your own welcome message. If you'd like to invite clients to your project, you'll want to click on the Client tab, and you'll invite them the same way as we invited people to our team. The first thing that you'll do is turn on client access, and then you'll see an area to invite your clients with their email address, just like we did our team. For today's class example, we're not talking about client projects, so we're going to head back to the Our Team tab, and we're going to start our project with the green button at the bottom. And that's going to bring us to our project page. You're going to have your entire project all on one page for you, and Basecamp's going to keep this neat and tidy. Now, one of the first things that I like to do when I start a brand new project is to create a discussion. We like to call this first discussion a kickoff message. It just kind of lets our team know that we're working on this project and it's time to get started. So as an example here, the subject of this message is going to be help pages. And our message might be something like, hey team, let's get started on this project together. Underneath the message area, you have an option for email notifications. Right now, with the tick mark here, you'll notice that when we post the message, it's going to be emailed to all 6 people on the project. If you wanted to get a little bit more specific, then go ahead and put your tick mark here. Let me choose who should get an email. And you could go ahead and select everyone to receive an email notification. You could select no one, or you could just perhaps choose a couple of folks just like that. Now, if I choose to email everybody here about our help pages discussion, perhaps Chase receives this email and he says, you know what, I just don't want to receive any more email notifications about the help pages discussion. That's not a problem because he can easily unsubscribe from the help pages discussions via the email that he receives. There's a little link for that. Or it's good to know that every user has their own Me page inside Basecamp, and that's where they're going to be able to designate their Basecamp email settings on a per project basis. If you don't want to email anybody and you just want to post a message to Basecamp, you have this option at the very bottom with the tick mark there. I'm going to go ahead and choose everyone to be emailed, and then I'll post the message with the green button at the bottom. Perfect. So our first discussion has been posted, and we're going to head back to our project page. To get back to the project page, just click on the project name or anywhere on this white page. And here's our first discussion underneath the discussion section. The next thing that we're going to do is add our first to-do list for our project. So we'll click on the to-do list link at the top, and we'll start by giving our list a title. Maybe we'll call this Things That We Want. And these are things that our support team wants for our new help pages. And it's just as easy as typing in the name here and then hitting the Enter Return key on your keyboard. So our first to-do underneath this list is going to be more videos. Maybe we want more videos for our help pages. Perhaps some live classes. And then maybe a Basecamp case study. So we have our 3 to-dos underneath our to-do list here. If I wanted to change the order of these, perhaps the Basecamp case study is the most important thing on this list, I would just take my mouse, hover on the to-do name, and drag it right up to the top like this, or maybe put it in the middle or back to the bottom, wherever it should go. I also do the same thing with to-do lists. If we had another to-do list in this project, I could take my mouse, click on the to-do list name, and move it up or down, depending upon where it should go here. It's also really simple to go ahead and assign responsibility of to-dos inside Basecamp. To do that, you'll just hover on the to-do name, click on the gray unassigned pill, and then you can assign the to-do to anybody on the project in the drop-down here. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and choose Joan. And on this to-do, we'll do the same thing, hover on the to-do name, click on the gray unassigned pill, and let's choose Chase for this one. So you notice when you assign it to someone, their name is going to appear in that gray pill for you. You may have also noticed that when you click on that gray pill, that you can set a due date for your to-do. Now, if your to-do has a due date associated with it, it's going to appear on your Basecamp calendar. So let's go ahead and choose a due date for this one, so we'll take a peek at what it looks like on the calendar in a bit. Let's say our due date is April 7th. Now we have a date associated with this to-do. We can also click on it again and maybe assign it to someone if we'd like to do that as well. Maybe Kristen there. Okay, perfect. So we have our to-do list and our to-dos. The next thing that we're going to do is schedule our first event for our project. Now, events can be many different things inside Basecamp. They can perhaps be project phases. In this case, we're going to go ahead and schedule a meeting for our team to get together and kind of talk about progress. So to schedule our first date, I'm actually going to click on the events link here at the top. And that's going to bring me to my Basecamp calendar. Now this is a calendar that's specific to the Support Help Page Redesign project. It's yellow right here for today. Today is always going to be highlighted so it stands out at you. And you notice a couple different things on this project calendar. You'll notice that our dated to-do is here. There's our live classes dated to-do. You'll also notice that's blue. Well, Basecamp automatically assigns a color for your calendar, but if you don't like the color that's chosen for you, just click on the calendar settings link, choose the color that you want. Maybe you'd like to choose pink instead, and then save changes. And now our to-do is pink. If you're somebody that prefers an agenda view for your calendar instead of this view here, then give your agenda view a little click, and now you'll see your dated to-do here on the agenda view for your calendar. To go back and schedule our event that we talked about, we'll click on the events link here. Now let's go ahead and schedule a meeting for April 7th as well. To do that, we're just going to click on the date that we'd like our meeting. And we'll start by naming our event. I'm just going to backspace here and name our event. I'm going to keep it simple and call it a meeting. Let's say we're going to do this at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I can just type 2 p.m. And you have an optional note area here. I find that this area is very helpful if you want to say something like, let's meet in the team room. Since Basecamp events only have a start time and they don't currently have end times, you could also consider using the event name up here and then maybe saying how long it will last with brackets. Maybe it's going to be an hour meeting, so you could do something like that. If your event was going to repeat, Basecamp has some awesome options for you here. You can click on the last multiple days or repeats link. If it was going to repeat, you would go ahead and click on this area here and you'd see that Basecamp has 4 options for you. If we were going to have this meeting every day, I could choose that option, or every week, or every month, or every year. Right now, those are the 4 different recurring event options for you. In this case, we'll say no. Now, this area here is asking you, who would you like to receive an email notification about this meeting? I definitely want my whole team to know about this meeting, so I'm going to type in that support group like we talked about at the beginning. Give it a click, and then all of these folks here will receive an email notification about our meeting. The bottom area is going to ask you about when would you like these folks to receive a reminder. Would you like them to receive a reminder 30 minutes before the meeting? So that would be at 1:30 on that day. Do you want them to receive a reminder an hour before? Perhaps you have a specific date and time here. You could click on the day of the event and choose any time that you want. Or 1 day before at a certain time, or 2 days before at a certain time. So there's plenty of different reminder options for you. For our team, we enjoy the 30 minutes before option, so I'm going to choose that. And then to make this official, just click on the green Add This Event button, and now our meeting has been added right here. You notice this nice gray line here in the middle. That's always going to separate your events at the top from your dated to-dos at the very bottom here. Let's head back to our project. Again, the project link here or anywhere on the white page. And you'll notice something new on the project page here. You notice this handy little yellow post-it note. And this post-it note is going to appear once you schedule your first event for your project. So if you don't see that, you haven't scheduled an event or you don't have an upcoming event for this particular project. You'll also notice it's a clickable link here. So maybe I have something to say about this meeting. I can click on it. And actually, it looks like Chase is already working on the project and has given us a little message here. It looks like he'd like to change our event, which is perfect because I can easily reply. Just like that, I can send my comment to the team. And there's a couple different ways that I can change our event to the different date. I could go ahead and edit the event right here from this link. I could also edit events from my main Basecamp calendar as well. That yellow flash that you've seen a couple times is Basecamp's live instant update feature. You don't ever have to refresh your browser or anything like that. Basecamp is going to update instantly for you, and that yellow flash is always going to grab your attention so you know when things are happening on your project. Let's head to our main Basecamp calendar up at the top, which is this link here. And again, you notice that today is highlighted so it stands out at you. And also when you're looking at this calendar, you'll notice your standalone calendars here at the top and your project calendars below. Remember that Basecamp's going to create a project calendar for you once you schedule your first dated to-do or an event. So if you don't see your project calendar listed here, you don't have either of those two. And then these calendars, these standalone guys, are calendars that we like to say are not project related. You'll notice that we're using these here for vacation days, out days, holidays, things of that nature. You could consider using it for someone's schedule, maybe as the boss. You have your schedule of when you're in the office, something like that. Here in the pink area is our support help page redesign project. Remember, we scheduled that as pink. And we clicked on our calendar because we wanted to change our meeting to the 8th, right? So we can do that two ways here. We can click on the meeting and we could go ahead and make the changes here and click on the green Save Changes button, or we could click on it with our mouse and then drag and drop it wherever we want. So in this case, the 8th, just like that. The same works for spanned events, and spanned events are going to be events that last more than one day, just like this one here. You could click on it with your mouse if you needed to move it, and you notice that nice shadow feature that moves around for you. If you're moving things around and you forget where it originally was, just hit Escape on your keyboard and it moves it right back to the date that it was originally scheduled. If you'd like to schedule an event from your main Basecamp calendar, you can obviously do that as well. Let's schedule a launch date for our support help page redesign project. Now we can click on these arrows to go back or forward a month, just like this here. You can also click on the middle link and perhaps choose a different date or year. You see we're in 2023 now. Let's head back to 2014 and we'll choose June for our launch date. Let's say we're going to launch on June 9th. You would just click on the date, the same as that we did before inside our project. Maybe we'll just call this a launch. Now, the most important thing to remember when you're scheduling an event on your main Basecamp calendar is to make sure that it gets scheduled under the calendar that you want. So right now it's defaulting to this general standalone calendar. I want to make sure that I choose the help page redesign project, which is right down here. Perfect. So again, same thing. If it was going to repeat, you have the option here. Let's let our team know about it. And then we can add the event with the green button at the bottom. And our launch date has been scheduled. If you're on your Basecamp calendar and you'd like to see today's view quickly, you always have this today link here. Brings you right back to today just like that. Let's go ahead and head back into our project. We'll click on projects here, which is our project screen. And we'll click on our project, the support help page redesign. And I'd like to talk about the Lupin feature. So the Basecamp Lupin feature is going to allow you to involve anybody in a thread via email without actually giving them access to your Basecamp project. So the person that you loop in gets an email notification with the full history of the discussion thread and then nothing else. If they choose to respond, their response will be added to the discussion thread, but they're never going to be able to click through to your Basecamp project or your Basecamp account. So let me show you how this works. I have somebody who would be great for our Basecamp case study, so let's loop her in. What we'll do is post a new message. Maybe we'll call this Basecamp case study. And then we'll go ahead and type our message to her. And what we're going to make sure to do is make sure our tick mark is here. Let me choose who should get an email. And what we're going to do is click on the loop in someone who isn't on the project to share by email only link. Now here's a nice little reminder to take away any worry that you might have. They're going to see the whole Basecamp discussion. They can reply via email, but they can't see anything else in the project. That's perfect. So I'm just going to invite her here. And then I just make this official by clicking on the green button like we've been doing here. So we're going to post the message. And that has been emailed off to Gina to see if she's interested in being a case study. And now she has been looped in. If you're curious as to what that looks like, I have Gina's email right here. You'll notice that the email comes from me at Basecamp. And here's exactly what we typed. There's not a link to my Basecamp project or my Basecamp account. All she's going to do is reply. So we're going to pretend that we're Gina here. And we'll say sure. And then we're going to send that email right back into Basecamp. And when we go back to our project page here, you should see that yellow flash in a moment. That again is going to be Basecamp's live instant update feature. And that's going to be Gina's response in the discussion that she was looped in right there. Perfect. So there is her response, just like we talked about. The next thing that we're going to chat about are Basecamp text documents. So that's going to be this link here at the top. Now when we click on text documents, they're going to be exactly what they look like. They're a great big giant legal pad for you to collaborate on wording with other people on the project. And you might find text documents useful for perhaps you and your team are drafting an email to a client together. Maybe you guys are making a long list of things that you need for something like that. In this case, we're going to draft an email to our customers, a reply email. And I'm just going to start this off. And let's say I'm finished. Whenever you're finished with your text document, always click on this big Save This Document button right here. That's going to save your text document so that you can edit this when you have a moment. If you are on a text document and you see in this right-hand side that somebody's currently making changes to the text document, you're always going to want to wait until that person is done making changes before you edit it. That just ensures that your Basecamp text document saves appropriately, just like you see right here. So it looks like Chase is currently editing it, so we'll wait to see what he adds here. And there it is. It looks like some additional text has been added here in real time. And you'll notice some version history here. I can go ahead and click on my version here at the bottom. And you can see where we started. And then when I click Chase's version, I can see that anything that was added is highlighted in green, and anything that was deleted is struck out in red. So you see he changed some things here and then added some things. Now, if I wanted to go back to my version and perhaps I didn't like what Chase added here, I could go back to my version here and then click on Make This the Current Version. And then that one would override Chase's version there. And that's how easy text documents are to use. Again, a great place to collaborate together on any wording that you might need for your project. Back to the project page, we'll go ahead and click on the project name here. The next thing we're going to talk about are adding files. We'll click on the file link here at the top. And you can add your file by selecting the file you want from your computer. You would just click on this, choose the file that you want, and add it just like that. Or if you have it on your desktop, you can just drag and drop it right in this area like this. And it's going to get loaded here. Right underneath the file area, make sure that you select anyone you'd like to be emailed about this specific file that you're uploading. In this case, I'm going to select everyone to receive an email about it, and then even though it looks like it's officially uploaded here, it's not. Make sure you click on this green Add This File button, and that will make it official. So perfect, our first file has been uploaded here underneath our Files section. Now when you click on the file, you'll notice some different options right here. You could download the image to your computer. You could view it full size in a separate browser tab. If you changed your mind, you could delete it, or you could discuss the image. Now, when you click on that, I find this a helpful area because perhaps you want to have a conversation about what you just uploaded with people on the project. So if that's the case, just go ahead and add a comment. And then add the comment with the green button. And then you and your team can discuss the file that you uploaded, just like that. Let's head back to our project page one last time, and you might remember that I said Basecamp was going to keep everything neat and tidy on your project page for you. You can see that we have our latest project updates here at the top. followed by our Basecamp discussions, our to-do lists, files, and a nice preview of the text documents at the very bottom. So I hope you find that helpful, and I hope that you can see that it's easy to get started right away. If you find that you need some additional help outside of this video, please give the green Help tab a little click. That's going to send you to our actual help pages where we have some helpful guides where you can go ahead and click on those and see some really wonderful articles with screenshots and videos. You can view some short video tips and tricks here if you'd like. But if you're still stuck or you have any questions, just click on the File a Support ticket. One of our friendly faces will be really happy to help you. All you have to do is give us some detail in this box here. Just let us know your question or your comment or your concern. Go ahead and add your email address because this is where we're going to reply to you at. And then submit the support request at the very bottom with the green ticket here. You can also always see how soon we're going to be able to contact you. Right now, we're able to respond to you in just about 2 minutes. And that's about it. Thanks so much.